We attach too much virtue to staying, as if endurance itself was proof of character. We are taught that loyalty is a corporate virtue and that if you just work hard and wait, your turn will come. This, my friends, by far is the biggest lie. There comes a point in a mature organization where perseverance is no longer courage, it is simply captivity. You're waiting for the system to revise its judgment of you, but the system has already stopped imagining your future. There is nothing more distressing than seeing people who stayed and regretted later. The problem why so many people miss the signals is not because people are stupid. It's because most brutal career signals are rarely dramatic. Nobody calls you into a room and kicks you out. They may still do that, but usually the signals are subtle. The consequences are brutal. Here are 5 signals that your company has finished with you and that your exit may now be the better move. Stay with me for all 5 signs. The 4th may be the most subtle and the hardest to detect. The 5th sign is the one people ignore the longest. It is also the one that often causes the greatest damage. The arrival of new entrants above you. You might be told that external hires are being brought in to support or lighten your load. Do not be naive. When an organization repeatedly brings in external talent to sit directly above you, they are occupying the exact space into which you could have reasonably grown. The work and authority you hope to move towards are being systematically assigned elsewhere. You're not being supported. Your upward path is being blocked. Now you might try to justify the first sign. And believe me, all of us fall for this justification. You tell yourself it is just a coincidence. But if it happens along sign number 2, it's no longer a coincidence. It is a message. The 5-year stagnation. Think about that. 5 years. Careers move through uneven period, but 5 years without meaningful movement is rarely neutral. It is a clear message. If you have made your readiness for the next level clear, if you have pushed for clarity in your appraisals, and absolutely nothing changes, the issue is no longer just your manager. The issue is organizational. You cannot reinvent yourself inside a system that no longer notices your reinvention. At this stage, you may think many professionals do, but my boss really likes me. Sign number 3 is exactly why your boss's opinion will not save you. Look upward. No, seriously, who is actually moving? Look at the hierarchy directly above you. Are there roles you could realistically grow into? Or are those roles occupied by people who are comfortable, entrenched, and highly unlikely to move? If your next level exists in title but not in practical availability, your continued waiting is an emotional attachment, not a career strategy. As I wrote in the Relevance Trap, a ladder that has no open rungs is still a wall. So far, we have spoken about signs that should be visible. The next one is different. It may be the most invisible sign of all. And it is also one of the most devastating because people often do not realize it has happened until years later. Look for it if you want to save yourself from the trap. Sign number 4 is how the organization quietly moves on without telling you. Here's the uncomfortable question. Does your function still matter as much as it did once? The organization's center of gravity may have shifted and you did not realize it. Let me explain. Every institution has functions it depends on, but they are not all of equal weight. What once drove the company's success may no longer be at the center of its agenda for growth. This happens all the time, and now perhaps more than ever. You know what I'm talking about. AI, that's right. Watch for irrelevance. The organization is constantly deciding what matters most. If your role sits outside the organization's economic or strategic center, your progression will be limited regardless of how competent you are. Because when the core moves, your future moves with it. If you have been nodding along through these first 4 signs, you're already paying the price. Which brings us to the 5th sign, the one I warned you about at the start. The one that costs you more than just a promotion. It costs you in ways you never imagined. The psychological toll of staying. This is by far the hardest to detect because often it gets couched under emotional strain. There comes a point when the cost of staying is no longer just a delayed promotion. It begins to affect your peace of mind, your confidence, your health, and your sense of self. If the environment repeatedly damages your dignity or inner stability and no correction is visible, exit is no longer just a career decision. It becomes an act of self-preservation. No role is worth the steady destruction of the person performing it. Many capable professionals stay far too long because they interpret leaving as defeat. They think quitting means they were not competent enough to make the structure work. That is a lie. Here is the truth. Some careers do not recover through persistence. They recover through relocation. Leaving a system that has stopped imagining you is not failure. It is the only way to recover your freedom. If you're seeing these signs, it is time to update your resume, activate your network, quietly test whether the market sees possibilities that your company no longer does. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments which of these 5 signs you are seeing right now. My name is Venkatachalam Viswanathan. I'm the author of the Relevance Trap.